What's up everyone, welcome back to Herman's Cars. Today we are taking a look at this. It's the brand new 2025 Mercedes Benz GLA 250e, and today we're going to dive into this and find out whether this is a good luxury subcompact crossover or whether your money should go somewhere else. So without further ado, let's get into the review. So starting off with the exterior, this car is all new for refresh for 2025. I've got the signature Mercedes headlights. Working over here, I got the Mercedes grille with the three-pointed star, and then this kind of like dotted pattern on the grille. This is quite a signature thing for Mercedes Benz and a lot of their models. Working down here, obviously you got your air vents, which are not real, which is really annoying. That's unfortunate. And then down here you got like your front splitter, and then over here again the fake air vents there, and then the parking sensors. And then moving up, you got these hood lines on the front hood here. Give it kind of more of a aggressive look, if you will. And then moving down here to the side, not too much going on here, just your black mirrors, silver door handles in this car. I think that's an option. You can option to have black or various other different colors. This particular car is I think it's called the Zenio or Iridium Silver, I think is the name of it. And then moving back here, so you got your charge port. I'll show you how to charge the car later. That'll be another step. And then working down the wheels, I think these are 19-inch wheels. AMG, this particular one is the AMG line. It's got like the package, so it gets you like the wheels, it gets you floor mats, sportier seats with like Alcantara in the middle. And then these brakes are actually ventilated as well. You can see if you go to the front, it's more obvious. You can see it's like ventilated, cross-drilled. And yeah, Mercedes logo. I'm not the biggest fan of black wheels typically, and I think I would probably go for a different wheel choice in this car if I was buying it personally, but obviously that's personal preference. And then moving back here, obviously you've got these taillights. These were refreshed for 2025. We've got this kind of like almost square pattern in them. And down here you got your trunk lip with your plastic rear bumper, and these exhaust tips, which I really don't like. These are fake. The exhaust is actually like way in there. It comes out, which is not great. It's very deceiving because you'd think they're real, but it's actually fake, which is really not great. GLA 250e badge there, obviously. And then you've got these other sort of air vents here, again, not real. But that's just for like show. And then moving here, you got your fuel tank filler. And then moving down, yeah, pretty much the same sort of stuff here. So without further ado, let's check out the interior and see what we've got going on inside this GLA 250e. The interior of this new GLA 250e. So in here, there's quite a lot of things you notice when you come in here. Obviously, this is all Mercedes-Benz's latest technology and latest design language. You've got this new steering wheel with the two kind of spokes. I actually really like the way this looks. I think it's nice. You got your paddle shifters here. For this car's transmission. I'll talk more about that again when we get into the engine. Script there that lights up. And then up on the door panel, you've got fake carbon fiber in this particular model because, again, the AMG line. Then you've got your red stitching with all the Alcantara and so on there. And then these seats, again, you'll notice same sort of thing. You've got the suede in the middle, red stitching, and then the bolsters. These are manual seats, manually adjustable, which I don't know, it's maybe questionable on a $50,000-$60,000 Mercedes crossover, but again, maybe that's the price to be paid for such a car. But then you've also got heated seats, and then moving around to the center console here, you can see you've got all the different buttons, and you got your dynamic drive select mode, volume dial, your parking sensors, and also a fingerprint recognition. I think you can set that for like to have the car memorize your seat settings, and so on and so on. And obviously here you got hard buttons for climate control, which is really nice. Some cars have that in the infotainment screen. That's not such the best system, so that's nice. And then another thing that Mercedes does, which is kind of interesting in a lot of their cars, is they have the gear selector as the stock on the steering wheel. If you're used to driving like a pickup truck, that'll be fairly normal to you, but it's kind of interesting to see on just normal cars. Obviously a lot of manufacturers moving towards different types of shifters. Some do push button, but Mercedes sticking with the stock, which is interesting. And you got your wipers there. Your light controls here also physical, which is nice. And then I have to say, one thing I'm not such a big fan of is the kind of capacitive touch buttons on the steering wheel. I like the way this looks. I don't really like the way this sort of functions, because it's easy to like accidentally hit certain functions and do things that you don't want while the car is moving. And down here you obviously got your AMG floor mats, this particular one, AMG line as I say. And here you got your metal brake and accelerator pedals, which is actually quite nice. A nice little touch there. And up here you've got your sunroof. This one moves adjustably. You can open it, which is nice. And then obviously your visors as well, which light up. And let's see if they move. No, they don't move actually, so that's a bit of a fail there. Not so great. And obviously this car has the latest version of Mercedes MBUX infotainment system. So let's go ahead and start that up and play around with some of the functions in it. So in here, you can cycle through your different like gauge cluster. So there's settings. There's like you can have like a sport gauge cluster. You can have comfort, like a really classic one as well, which just shows you like the very basic sort of information of what you need. It's a bit more of a relaxed look, I guess. And here you've obviously got all your different settings for media, for comfort. You can change ambient lighting, which is cool. It's something a lot of Mercedes models have. You can do it purple, white, green. You can do like monochrome colors, which is cool. So you have like the entire sort of basically colors of the rainbow, which is kind of cool. And also in here, your media, navigation system, and then this car also has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is nice. Wireless too, which is good. And that's really cool. And also you got your things for the hybrid drive. This being the hybrid model, you can see your consumption, your energy flow, the engine, how much power and torque you're using, which is cool. And then in your you can pair different devices to the car, and then the settings. So all this like your collision avoidance, and this car has radar guided cruise control, which is nice. So it speeds up if it sees a car speeding up in front of you, slows down if the car in front does the same, which is cool. The only thing that's kind of annoying is this car has a speedometer reader, but it constantly beeps at you if you're going even a few kilometers an hour over, and it sometimes lags behind in certain speed limit areas, so it's kind of annoying. But there's a way you can turn that off as well, which is cool to have. And yeah, other than that, not too much else. Let me see what else we have in here, and then yeah, let's check out the back seats and see what we got going on back there. Back seats, get back here. It's pretty spacious actually. You've got decent legroom, decent headroom, which is pretty good. These seats are pretty comfortable. They're a little on the firm side, but they're definitely comfortable. Good back support, good kind of leg support as well, which is good. Back here, kind of similar, not too much features or anything back here. You obviously got your climate vents, you've got USB-C charging ports, and some storage back here, along with the nets for the seats. Obviously your speakers, and more of the kind of Alcantara and red stitching as well, which is nice. A little touch. Without further ado, let's check out the rear trunk area and see how much space we got in there. See, the trunk is a electronic unit. You just touch it and it opens up, and then back here, pretty decent space. You can fit quite a lot of suitcases back here, quite a lot of things. Obviously you got your charging cables back here. As I said, I'll show you how to plug it in, part right beside a charging wall there. So and then this is a European model, so we've got like the warning triangles and so on that's required by EU regulations. Other than that, nothing particularly interesting back here. You can fold the seats down, and then under the floor here you've also got like your air compressor and so on for if you get a flat tire, which is nice to have all that. Yeah, without further ado, let's check out how to charge the car, and I'll show you guys how you can do that at your house. So here you have your charging cables in the case here. You just take it out and open up the charging door. You can see got like a flap there. You open it up, got your little plug there, and then in here you just plug that in. This one has its own Mercedes charging plug, which is nice. And then let's see, plug this in, and then you can just plug it in right here. And then on this charge port, this is obviously a household, so it takes quite a while to charge. It's going to take about 12 hours to get to a full charge, which is quite a while. But obviously, if you go to a public charging network, which are springing up around more and more places, you will it'll be much faster. It'll take like 20 minutes on I think it's pretty like a standard charging outlet. It can do it from like 10 to 80% in 20 minutes, which is pretty good. It's pretty nice to have that feature. And then the battery in this car, it will go on about 73 kilometers on pure electric range, and then before the gas motor starts to kick in and starts to charge the battery itself. But yeah, I hope you guys like that little showing of how to charge the car. And now let's check out the engine in this car and see what's powering this thing. So without further ado, let's check it out. Alright, so now under the hood of this Mercedes GLA 250e, under here we've got a 1.3 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. It's a very small engine. It only makes about 163 horsepower on itself, and then the electric motor makes another 109 horsepower, so it's about 219 horsepower combined, which is not bad. Something like Alfa Romeo Tonale has a little bit more power. It's like 275, so if you're looking for like a sporty car in this segment, maybe that's an option where you could look instead. But this is still not bad. 0 to 60 is about 7.5 seconds. So again, not fast, but not the worst either. And this car, you'll get pretty good combined range. I think it's something like 500 to 600 kilometers on its like combined range, which is pretty good. Further ado, let's wrap up this review and talk about some of this car's competitors as well, actually. It is GLA as well. I want to also talk a bit about this car's sort of being introduced. This car was introduced back in 2014 with the first generation model. That was kind of Mercedes' entryway into the subcompact luxury crossover segment that was starting to become quite popular at that time with the likes of the Audi Q3 and the BMW X1. And so Mercedes wanted to get into that as well, and so they came out with the GLA. And then the first generation was made until about 2021, I think it was, and then they introduced this second generation model in 2022, and then this has been obviously refreshed for 2025 as well. And you have quite a few different trim levels of this car as well. You can go all the way up to like the AMG 45S, which is the one you want if you really want some power and performance. And here in Europe, there's actually more trims. You can go down to like the 200 diesel and so on, which we don't get in North America. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And so, without further ado, let's talk about some of this car's competitors. Or sorry, it's like pricing and yeah, competitors. You have it's Alfa Romeo Tonale, BMW X1, Audi Q3. Those are all this car's kind of main competitors, and yeah, I'd say this is a pretty good like competitor to those. I think if you're a really Mercedes fan, this is going to suit you well, especially if you like what they're doing now with all the technology and so on. This is going to suit you well. But if you want maybe a slightly more sporty driving experience, you can either step up to the AMG, which is going to of course cost you more, or for a similar price you could get the Alfa Romeo Tonale or the BMW X1, which maybe offer a little bit more performance for the similar price as this 250e. Pricing for this car starts at about, for this 250e, starts at about 56,000 Canadian dollars, and obviously you can go up to 60, well over 60 with options. Like this one is pretty well optioned with the AMG package and so on. Yeah, I hope you guys have had a good time watching this review of this GLA 250e, and I'll catch you all in the next review, so stay tuned. Bye.